There's no simple answer to that because it varies area by area, map by map. And so I'm not trying to avoid the question, but there is no simple answer to that. Now, the dramatic increases we're talking about would not be the norm. But, even if they hit 2% of Louisiana, that's a huge, in some cases, devastating impact to communities. So I'm not trying to avoid the answer, but it really depends on the area. It also depends on FEMA doing its new mapping correctly, which we're fighting on. Bob Miller, when are you and other U.S. senators going to end this Afghanistan-Iraq debacle that's costing American lives? Yes, sir. Bob, where are you?
Thank you, Senator.
Yes,
I want to say, first of all, I appreciate all the emails back and forth to your
Sure.
office. Thank you very much for that. I'm not some tree hugger. I'm a guy that spent over 20 years in the United States Army. I retired as a lieutenant colonel. I'm proud of my service, but I look at these boys getting killed in Afghanistan and Iraq, and I say, this is ridiculous. Those people have been killing each other since Christ rode the mule. They're going to continue to kill each other long after we're dead and gone. It's not worth one more American life to give them, quote, security in those countries, because after we finally leave, guess what? It'll be just like it's been for the last 1,000 years. I think you, Senator Landry, need to be talking to other senators and members of the House and say it's time to stop this. If you don't think it's a good idea, I'd like to know why, but it's not worth one more American boy. Thank you very much.
Sure. So Bob, first of all, thanks for your service and all the other veterans here. All the veterans, raise your hand. Let's give them a round of applause. Thanks for your service, and I certainly have all the same concerns about our folks over there. Like almost every Louisiana family, we're directly affected. I have a young nephew in the Army in Afghanistan right now that we, of course, pray for daily. My basic answer would be this. Number one, we're getting out of both Iraq and Afghanistan. Iraq is on a quicker, or is on a pace that started earlier, but we're clearly getting out of both places. Now, for the very security of our people there, we can't do that overnight. We can't do that in a week. If you pull out too quickly, you actually leave some Americans vulnerable at the tail end. So we need to be cognizant of that. And that's, I think, the biggest factor in terms of the pace of the pullout. But that's going on, and it's underway, and it's going to be virtually done within a reasonable amount of time. The second thing I would just add as a cautionary note is this isn't just about Iraqi or Afghani freedom. Particularly in Afghanistan, there's a very specific reason we're there, and it's because that's where the 9/11 terrorists were trained. And this is a direct connection, not just to Afghani freedom, but to American freedom. And we cannot allow other training grounds for Al-Qaeda the way Afghanistan was. And we can't allow that to happen. And I don't think it is going to happen again in Afghanistan. So it is a direct connection to American lives and American interests, but I certainly appreciate your comments. Is it about this, sir?
Same thing.
Yeah.
I want to know what the prisoners in because of 9/11 explosion and Sunday Trade Center, and we still haven't tried it.
We still haven't what?
Tried it. They've been,
Well, the 9/11 folks were tried the moment they pulled off what they did. And I have no doubt where they're serving their time, and it's beneath us, not above us.
the one that was responsible never was. They were
Yeah.
Mastermind.
Well, I'm not sure what your question is. I don't think they should be tried, because I don't think it was a crime. I think it was an act of war. I think they should be held in Guantanamo. For the duration of the conflict, including if it's well beyond their natural lives.
What I understand, they get sent out back overseas.
Some of them are, and I certainly disagree with that. Becky Mangan, when are our Hispanic Republican congressmen and women and Republican governors going to reach out and speak to the Hispanic community about what the Republican Party stands for? Yes, ma'am, why don't you elaborate?
Well, I heard Susanna Martinez about a year ago explain how she came to the realization that she is at the heart a Republican. And I think that is something that the Hispanic community does not realize. They hold a lot of the same values, most of the values that Republicans hold.
Yeah. Family,
And
education, hard work.
reaching out to them in their own language is so important. So what can you do to garner support for Republicans to reach out to that community?
Well,
Educate them.
I think you make a great point, and I agree. They're enormous common values, like education, family, hard work. So we have plenty to offer and to relate to them on. What I can do is encourage that effort, help raise money for that effort. I'm a white guy, so I can't lead the spear on that effort, but you're right. Actual Hispanic Republicans can very effectively, and that is being organized. And it's also being organized, by the way, in terms of even tougher outreach, like in the African American community. Here in Louisiana, here in the Baton Rouge area, we've had a number of recent converts. The most notable is probably a state senator who's from Acadiana, Elbert Guillory. And that in Louisiana is an ongoing effort, which I'm certainly very supportive of. So you make a great point.
Well, I think it's important to do that to all the communities that think they're democratic and they're not really. But I really get tired of receiving requests for money from different organizations and never see any results with regard to that. So I would like to see that happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll carry back that message because I agree with it.